some men, no disrespect to y'all,
right,
are not cut out for that because it takes a very extremely high alpha man, I think, that would be willing to say, listen.
Here we go.
I saw all of you grimace. I watched all your facial expressions. Hold on, let me finish momentarily. That will be willing to step in and raise someone else's son.
How many people here have kids? Tracy? Janelle? So there's two of you ladies. Okay. Don't look around. Look right at me. Raise your red or your green. Should men date single moms? Hold it up high. Hold it up high. Pixie? We have... Okay, guys, I don't flicker it.
They're in between.
We have red, we have green, 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 green. So most of it is green. 4 or 5 of you is red. So Tracy, you put your green up because you're a single mom.
Yes.
Sell us on why one of these gentlemen should be your new boy toy, baby daddy situation.
No, I think that there's people in the world for everybody. I don't think anyone should be my son's father. I think someone that's going to come to my life will love me and eventually end up loving my son, but I am not looking for a baby daddy. I am looking for a partner.
I'm listening
and
very
that's the
closely
difference.
to this one.
So
nobody's replacing that.
Yeah.
She already has a child, and she wants you to be her partner. Partner, you're gonna be her partner? That sounds great.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So what would you say to the guy that's like, I don't even know, you're hot, you're cool, you're great. I can't even get over the fact that you have a kid, and as dope as you are, I'm mentally blocked.
Then
That's
that
what
means
saying
that's not the person for me.
Not quite what I was saying.
I think you're not the person for him.
But go ahead. Yeah.
Can I jump on what you
Sure,
said?
yeah.
Because I have a lot to say, and I'll be brief, but I want to make a few points. First of all, you guys are all obviously talented and very much so respected in your fields, including yourself. And I know your battle with having children back and forth. But
What's my battle?
Well, you said you're ambivalent.
I'm gonna have kids one day.
Yeah,
with
one day,
with
but like
with the
when you're always like asking your friends, you really like it? Like, you know.
What's sex, guys? I've
Okay.
never heard of this
Anyway.
thing. What do you do with this?
Complimenting us because
What
you're about
they're
to say
naked.
something
I
What
have
I
no
will
clue.
say,
Yeah.
first of all, as there's a lot of single moms who have given single moms like myself a really bad rap. And they use men for resources, and they put their children before their serious committed persons, whoever, if they're married or not, before their needs, like their spouse's needs, right? And I don't agree with that if it's a long-term serious thing. So I think that that's to be said for why probably a lot of you, and more reason you said, I don't want to raise two kids. And that's honest, and I appreciate that. However, what I will say, the men that I've met and that I've dated and that have proposed to me, they wanted to marry me, and they wanted to be a stepfather to my son if I wanted that, right? Now, the thing about me that's different from most women...
Okay, before she continues to ramble on, is she married? So she's saying they proposed to her, but she's still a single mom.
Even though I'm very masculine in how I'm speaking now, because I'm trying to make a point, I'm very feminine, and I let the man take the lead. And I don't try to say, my son and I are so cool, we're the best. No, I let a man be gracious to me because I'm feminine, and I serve his needs. I make sure his sexual needs are served. I make sure that his tummy is full. And my son never goes without, trust me. He's been to 14, 15 countries already. Yeah. So I think the difference is that some men, no disrespect to y'all,
right,
are not cut out for that because it takes a very extremely high alpha man, I think, that would be willing to say, listen.
Here we go.
I saw all of you grimace. I watched all your facial expressions. Hold on, let me finish momentarily. That will be willing to step in and raise someone else's son. That takes a very brave,
Willing to step up and be the stepfather.
bold man. And there are men out there in the world who will do it when they see the value of a woman that's serving them and saying, listen, yes.
Did you say that there were men that openly came into your life and wanted to help raise your kid?
Yes.
Where are they now?
Well, I was going to tell you.
Why didn't they make the cut?
Well, first of all,
niggas are so alpha.
hold on. First of all, I didn't choose that, and here's why.
That's a great point. She's saying those types of men are super alpha, but she's had apparently multiple men get on a knee and propose to her and try to be the stepdaddy. But I guess they weren't alpha enough, so she said no.
I won't get into my personal. I'll just give you one example. He's very famous. He's in the personal development world. He's on Tony Robbins' stage, more than Tony is. So if you know the Tony Robbins world, you know who he is. And he's your color. Anyways, he was a lot older than me, and he didn't want to have more children. And I do. I'm going to have at least 1 or 2 more. So for me, that was, he was very invested in my son. But I said, you know what? I'm waiting for that person who wants to build our own family too. He adopts my son and we have one together. And so that's what I'm doing. And so I'm right now choosing to give my son a beautiful life. He travels with me around the world. I run my business. He gets to go to my retreats, etc. And that's what I do. And so I know I'm rare, but I do think it's a
Are you though?
huge missed opportunity that men are passing on really good single moms like myself because they feel some type of way about it. And like she said, that's your prerogative. But you're also missing the most feminine, nurturing woman on the planet.
Okay. Anyways, so she's saying it's okay because that's your prerogative, but that's not what you're saying. You're actually saying these guys are lesser than, and they aren't cut out for the job of stepdaddy because they aren't alpha enough. So you're not just saying that's okay, that's your preference. You're saying that on top of saying they are sort of inferior to the men who would step up or step in and be that stepdaddy. So you're not just stating, oh, that's fine, that's your prerogative. You're adding a side, not even a side, you're adding an entree of shaming along with, oh, that's your prerogative, that's your preference. And then also keep in mind, right, when women say stuff like this, you can be considered an alpha or a real man in one area, but then maybe someday you're doing something or you're not doing something that she wants you to do. Then all of a sudden you are disqualifying yourself from a real man because a real man would do this, but you're not doing that today. So they'll say on one hand, this type of behavior is real alpha, makes a real man. But then if you don't do this other behavior, then all of a sudden you're disqualified. So they'll kind of use this lingo, they'll use this language as a way to get what they want. So it's like, okay, a real man does this. Good, you did this today. Today you're a real man. And then the next day you don't do what she wants. Well, a real man would do this. Today you're not a real man. So it's like someday you're a real man to them. Someday you're an alpha male. Someday you're not. Just depends how they feel. So, one day it's real men pay for the first date. And then another day it's real men step up and be the stepdaddy. And then another day it's real men do chores. Real men help out with dishes. Like it starts to become very obvious that the route they're going down to get what they want. And again, they'll do this as well in arguments. So they'll start to belittle you or emasculate you if you're not living up to what they want. So it seems like a very common theme they do is they attack your masculinity. They attack you what you fundamentally are in order to make you sort of want to be like, no, I am this. So they go internally, they challenge what you are fundamentally in a way for them to get what they want. This is very manipulative, and I know a lot of times I'm not sure they even realize they're doing it, and it's sort of just a tactic within the female psyche.
Or that I've been told.
That a girl. Troy, and then I'm going to come back to you ladies for a question. Go ahead.
I completely respect what you said, and you're a very inspiring woman, and it's great to hear you say that. I mean, my comment on that is, firstly, what you're doing is what a lot of women will do, which is kind of recontextualizing what alpha is. So I'll say, no, an alpha man, a stepdad is a man who steps up. The guy who's prepared to take on my children. That's my definition of alpha. Okay, so you're defining alpha as that. Is that the actual objective definition of alpha? Maybe not. Maybe you could argue that the guy who just goes around the world and smashes a load of girls and has a fantastic time, is that not alpha? You would argue not, because that's irresponsible. But
so to women, a real man or an alpha man is someone who serves them and helps their female experience. But honestly, one of the traits is in some ways being selfish, prioritizing himself. That actually is sort of a trait a lot of these men will have, because this is how they end up doing well in life. They have to prioritize themselves. They have to be a bit selfish sometimes. So the way women want to describe, and I think they know it's not true, the way they want to describe a real man or an alpha man is not someone who's selfish, but very selfless and prioritizes everybody's needs above his own. But interestingly enough, that's not a trait they are typically going to be attracted to or aroused by. And obviously we know mating strategies switch up for women, especially when they get older. And I do believe they put less emphasis on arousal and more emphasis on provisioning and providing. And it's like, oh boy, how exciting it is to be that guy who is no longer fitting the category of arousing and attractive, but more so is giving her what she really wants now that she's older and has kids, the long-term provisioning. What an exciting life that must be for that man.
That's another type of alpha. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I was actually on another podcast last night. I'm talking to one of the girls there. She's got a couple of kids, okay, and she said that she's just recently got together with a dude, okay. They've been together 2 months. It's a long distance relationship, okay, because he's in a different state, and he's already said to her, I want to marry you and I want to look after your kids after 2 months. Is that the action of an alpha male? Or is that the action of a guy who's needy and is saying that because he's desperate to secure the box?
That's different from my scenario. We dated
completely
for,
different to your scenario,
but
I'm just saying that somebody saying I'm prepared to look after your kids is not in itself necessarily indicative of alpha traits. It could actually be indicative of the opposite.
Let me get McQueen's thoughts here. McQueen, are you being sold on becoming?
So she said it could be. I don't really think so. And that's why I've said in a video in the past, it doesn't make you an honorable man necessarily to become a stepdaddy. And it also doesn't make you a piece of shit to not become a stepdaddy. It kind of just is. Perhaps it shows how interested they are in that woman, that they would be willing to be a stepfather. Perhaps it says a lot about their circumstances and situations.
no, he's not. He doesn't want.
Absolutely not.
He
Nigga,
doesn't
I
want
don't
to
give
take
a
care.
fuck. I'm not hearing none of this shit, really.
You got the simplest answers.
Yeah,
You're not playing this game.
No, because it's just like, how you gonna tell me I'm not alpha because I don't want to raise your fucking kids? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right.
He doesn't want to raise his own.
Yeah, like, all right, fine.
I feel
I'll take my
like a really
non-man-ass homie.
solid alpha it can put up a really good risk-benefit analysis, right?
There you go.
So if the woman is a great exception to the rule, you freaking head over heels more than anything you've ever felt in your life, that could be different.
Yeah.
But for the average single mother that you meet, a very basic risk-benefit analysis that you could look on data that's already available, you could look at the situation that you're presented with, probably not the safest route to go.
I think the truth is that's what we're all doing.
And that's
every
what
time.
most men
and
do,
that's a
and
normal
that's
thing to
fine.
do.
Yeah,
That's a
that's fine.
responsible thing to do, and I think that's what an alpha would do at the end of the day.
And no one's telling the other side that this shows up as a debit on the ledger, so you're going to have to make up for it in another side because that's
Right.
distasteful. It creates an argument, and I think we grimace.
Well, a
because
lot
it
of
came
people do
across.
that. I mean, they'll say, "Oh, that I don't count because I have a kid," and I'm
No,
like, that, "You
No,
don't
it's not that
count
you
because
count.
you said that comment."
There's lots of things that aren't ideal.
But it's
But
also
you can make
I mean,
educated
next to
decisions.
Most
Still.
women in their 20s, and I will surpass all of them in regards to the characteristics that I bring to a man and
believe
to
that.
his life.
Okay,
So
let
thank
me
you for
get
that.
Tracy
Thank you
back
for
in the
that.
mix because Tracy, you're so nice and sweet, and you have a kid. How old is your kid?
My son is 4.
Your son is 4.
Yeah.
What's it been like bringing dudes around your kid?
I don't bring dudes around my
Ever.
Bless.
Ever.
That's the
Never.
answer, I'd say.
So no guy has.
I have my friends, people that he knows
Okay.
growing up, but I do not bring men that are temporary in my life around my son.
Okay, so what would it take to, like, how quickly do you tell a guy you have a kid?
Right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
I think that's smart.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
You have
point
to.
if he's just like, yeah, I'm out.
It's like
I'm
if you
not,
have
I'm
an
not
STI.
looking for somebody to think I don't have that.
Got it.
I'm proud of that.
I think
As you should be.
Yeah, I don't
No
need
doubt.
it.
You
Yeah.
should not feel
If it's
shame because you have a
like I
kid.
said,
That should be
like
the
I said,
proudest thing you have.
100%.
Right.
That's the
Yeah, because that's
best
the part
thing
of the
I've
problem
ever
is
done.
that everyone talks about the number one job a woman should have, the most important job is being a mother. Now, relationships sometimes don't work out, but you shouldn't be shamed because you have a kid. You should be definitely proud of having your kid. But how complicated is it finding a partner as being a single mother?
Well, it all depends on where you are in your life, right? Because for me personally, I'm in a point in my life right now where I'm not looking. Yes, I'm single. I'm not looking. I'm expecting for when I'm ready emotionally to bring somebody on board, that will come with it.
Got
So whenever that happens is when I'll allow that
So
space
last
for
piece
myself.
of advice before we move on. There's dudes out there. Like, I'll give you one story. I was seeing this girl who was like on 1 or 2. I didn't really realize she had a kid, but then I found out she did. But I was like, you know, this girl's that awesome of a girl. Hold on, Tiff. There's that awesome of a girl that I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me see where this goes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. You know, we hung out one time. It was great. The second time we go to hang out, she goes, hey, sorry, I have to cancel. Both of my kids are sick.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to cancel. I'm like, it's not even you canceling. It's because Dylan over here got a tummy ache, and I stay over there, woman.
You told me to sit.
Nope, she's there. Stay there. It's that she got canceled. She canceled because of her kid. I'm like, this is really weird. I'm out. I hope your kid feels better. Here's some Tums for the tummy ache. Peace out. Boom. So that was the problem. So what's your final piece of advice to guys considering dating a single mother?
Go for it.
Well,
Go for it.
No.
Her first or
Go
ahead. Her and then Janelle, final word.
So for me is you have to take a lot into consideration that a woman, the child doesn't make her. So, a woman can give you a lot of things, and what a woman with a kid can give you is a lot of experience. So you won't have to deal with the bullshit because we've been through that already. So we're very straightforward, and we'll get to the point. We want what we want, and that's it.
I feel like a good mother will prioritize their kid no matter what, though, right? And so for a man, if you're not okay with that, if you want to be number one, you're not going to be down with that.
Because even in conventional...
Hold on. We got to go to the next one. Janelle, final word,
Yes.
10 seconds.
Okay.
Why should a guy sell me on dating a single mother? 10 seconds.
Here's why. Because a lot of men are dissatisfied in their sexual life when they get into committed long-term relationships. Women are selfless. They pushed a child almost 8 pounds out of their yoni with no drugs. We are selfless. So we'll be that much more selfless with my partner. I treat my partner the same way I do my son, minus the sexual
So what I'm understanding
Okay, well then why are you single?
is single moms better be a little more frisky in order to keep that man around.
What I'm saying is they have the ability to be very selfless and put that man first.
Every
and put
guy that has
Got
a
it.
kid with his wife is screaming right now, saying that's not what happened.
I said they have the ability to.
Because even in
Well,
conventional
well,
marriages, there's often the case where the husband will say, no, the sex has tailed off, now we've had the kid, and now it's all about the kid and it's not about me anymore.
Correct,
Yeah.
but the point is that a lot of women today, modern women, feminists, are
Yeah.
very selfish,
Okay.
and you're not even getting that.
Guys,
You're getting
thank
what
you
they
right,
want.
Thank you right
Yeah.
there. I love you guys. You're doing great. Get ready to party.
Also, one of the problems as well is, say you date a single mother and say you fall in love with her, and then you meet the kid or kids, and you start to love those kids as well. Well, say one day you guys split up. That's going to be such a devastating heartbreak to have to say goodbye to the woman and then also say goodbye to the kid or kids. And not to mention, that is also really going to mess with the kid as well, because he's having to say goodbye to someone, he or she, that they developed a connection with. So, man, the single mom issue in general, it's a big issue because it's getting worse and worse. And then we all know about the stats. We all know how these kids oftentimes turn out when they're raised by single mothers. And then you're putting these children through a lot of trauma at a young age. Honestly, the whole thing is a giant mess. And they also need to take more accountability for the type of men that they sleep with. And this is another reason why women are hypergamous, why women are very choosy and picky, because, well, they need to be. They need to be because, think about it, if you were a woman and one of the risks you had was getting knocked up and then having to carry a child for 9 months and then also raising it, you're going to have a lot more invested into that man than you would be if you were a dude. So it makes sense why women evolutionarily and biologically would be more choosy, but it's like they aren't being choosy enough anymore, or they have their priorities completely screwed up because now they can work, now they can make money on their own. So they're just leaning into traits from men that probably are just arousing leadership traits, things that turn them on, but they aren't qualifying him in other ways. And then also these men have so much leverage. A lot of this is really, really screwed up. And honestly, we're seeing it in the stats. This whole situation does not make single motherhood a lesser issue. It's making it a more major issue. And this is a problem because the people it produces is a big issue.